So hello and welcome back to another episode here at ScriptcaseByJamie. Or is it Landman? I'm really not sure right now because there's been a lot of Landman videos, but I've just finished the project entirely, pretty much entirely. I only have two free applications actually, which I still need to go through, but otherwise it's complete, and I've already placed it on GitHub. Yes, on Git. I placed a page on Git. But we're going to go through many things, so let's have a dive in and see what it's all about. And try and, well, check out the new version of Landman, version 3. That is for free. Yes, you can download it for free on the GitHub page, and, well, you can use it as you please. So let's dive in, shall we, and check it out. So hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, I know there's been a bit of a delay in the macro videos. They should be back already actually, because you'll be having this video after the latest macro video, and the reason for that simply is that life in general, what can I say? So today I'm going to show you the latest version of Landman, which you can now download because now I'm happy with it. I've pretty much been debugging, testing, deploying, changing, updating, the whole shebang for the last couple of weeks whenever I've had some time in between normal life, let's say. And, well, I hope you like it. And, of course, it is... yeah, some madness going on there. The cat's going crazy behind me. Making some funny noises and trying to get out the window. That's what they do. So, yes, so Landman. That's what it's all about today. So, this version of Landman is near complete. There is 2 or 3 little applications that I am still working on. You're going to see them as we go through. But inconsequential, I would say, for the overall project, because the overall project is done. These are just extra applications I've been creating, wanting to create, let's say, because I think with one of them there may be issues that I wasn't expecting or hoping for. But we're going to go into that as we go into the platform. So yes, this is going to hopefully be a long video. And we will be going into all of the aspects of the latest version of Landman, because there have been a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments, and a shit ton of improvements. Yes, I said the word shit. Because there is a shit ton of improvements on here. But we're going to see that as we go on. So first of all, what we have here is the index page, and that's what you see now on your screen. This is actually the new index page. And as you see, you have the link for the login here. You have the link for the production environment, as of course this would be hosted locally. So it kind of made sense that you have those aspects there, or that link for the production environment, should I say. And with that, of course, we can log in. Now, I should mention that this is my lab right now, and there are some differences there that may not be working as I really want to. And that is because, like I said, shit a few times, that's because I've been doing a shit ton of testing. Yes, oh my God, I've been testing this one like crazy and adding little features, little everything, everywhere, like you're going to see. So this is right now the dashboard here in my local environment, and this is actually deployed on my lab and within Docker, I must say, because that has not been working out as I have been wanting it to. And that is because of the way Docker protects your network layer, basically. Now, I have given it all the rights. I've configured everything as what should be, and it's just not been presenting what I really want. And well, we're going to go into that a bit deeper as we go on. So I'm going to jump back here to my script case environment, and here I have then the developed version, or should I say complete version as it is, because here it works beautifully, and it also works beautifully on a local or local hosted in general, where it has access to the network layer. So that is very important, because of course this is a networking platform designed for your network. So it needs direct access to the LAN connection or your Wi-Fi connection, whichever it may be. And within a Docker environment, as much as I wanted to host this in Docker, it works, but then only with the Python scripts. Okay, and I have been making some adjustments here so that you can use it either with a cron, so you're using basic PHP, you just run a cron job and it will update the database. Or you can use it within the platform and it will update your database. Logging is crazy in this thing right now. Kind of crazy, I say. But of course you can disable and enable some of that. So all of those features, I've been trying to add those everywhere, and I'm sure there's one or two objects I'm still going to change, but for now I think I'm going to have a break from this, because it literally has been causing me some sleepless nights, as well as it's all I've been thinking about. Literally, because I keep thinking, oh, I could do with a link here, or I could do with a link there, or that's not working right, or that's not giving me the data as I expect it to. So right now you are looking at the dashboard, the main network command dashboard of your portal. Yes, your portal, because as I mentioned, it is for free. You will be able to download it within the GitHub page, which I will come to. And from there, you'll be able to download it, use it, and abuse it as much as you need to, as much as you want to, and hopefully provide me some feedback so that I can maybe adjust and improve it for your circumstances, because, well, I only have so many devices I can test this on. And at the same time, I've been testing it like shit crazy. Yes, I said it again. Ship. ship, like the sailing ship. Yeah, if you'd like to put it that way. But okay, that's what it is. So I've been testing so much in this and fixing all sorts of naggly, little bits and pieces here and there that needed to be improved, or as I thought needs to be improved. Now you may of course have a different idea there. For that, you have the comments. Leave me some comments or send me an email. You have my email right here. It says there, jamie@jamieoates.com. So you can email me anytime. That is my personal email address. You can email me, ask me any questions, give me any suggestions on this that you like. If you're using it, let me know. I'd love to know if you are using this platform or if I've just created it just for myself, me and I. Yes, me, myself, and I. All of those. So my alter egos, of course. So now within our dashboard, let me go over first of all what we have here within each of these applications, because as I said, I have added a ton of new features into this, new tools, new capabilities, new links, and of course, a whole new layout, kind of, or style, should I say. But either way, I hope you like it. Now, of course, right now you are seeing it on my full screen. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it's nice to have this zoomed in. Now, 100%, that is what it looks like. Okay, so on a large screen like I have, it's a 4K screen. So maybe it could be a little small. So in those cases, zooming in to 120, 130% is actually quite nice. Now, I have made adjustments for this for smaller screens. And yes, it makes a difference. Now, of course, I would like to highlight that you can, of course, always reduce the size of the menu, which for those smaller screens is for sure going to be important. Because this is definitely a large screen application, but I've made it so you can view it on smaller screens. But as you see, when you view it on a larger screen, it can be okay. Or smaller resolutions, should I say. It can be okay, but at the same time, maybe not so much. But that's up to you to decide. And of course, you can let me know again in the comments if you think I should make some more mobile adjustments to this so that it works better on mobile devices. I haven't tried it on my tablet, even though I say I've done a shitload of testing. I just got stuck with that SH word there. I just wanted to say that again. And of course, that makes a bit of a difference. So I've been testing this on my laptop, which has a much lower resolution than my desktop here. And I've been also testing it on a local environment as well as a Docker environment, hosted, of course, so deployed. And within the Docker environment, I've been having a slight different view than when it's hosted locally, which I can't show you because I'm in the middle of setting up a whole new environment for it. And with that, well, I'm just going to show you the demo here now that I have here. Now, I have logged in, so of course some of these aspects are available. So for instance, your logins here, those are only on a user basis. So those are completely private now. Those were not private previously. Those were displayed for everyone. And at the bottom here, we also have your pinned intelligence, or should I say your notes. And you can actually access everything from here. And again, those are personal. So right here on the dashboard, let's go over the entire dashboard. So at the front view, let's say, right at the front view, we have here, first of all, your event volume. Now this counts how many logs you have recorded already. And yes, that's 812, and I've been clearing them in between. So as I mentioned, this platform logs a lot. Okay, so in some of the views that you have, it will start logging your latency. It will start testing your network as well as checking various aspects. Now, I don't know why this chart here isn't working right now. That's something I'm going to have to look at afterwards. But I have recorded this video, 5 times now? Yes, 5 times already. And every time I've come, I could do with that link there. Oh, crap, that isn't working. Whatever it is, something has not been right. So I'm hoping, other than this one chart, availability chart today, that everything actually works perfectly. Because I've been debugging like crazy and testing like crazy a shit ton. Again, yes. I wonder how many times I can say that here on YouTube. Any ideas? I got no idea. Let me know now in the comments. Let me know. I'm curious about that. Can I even swear? Am I going to get blocked for saying shit so many times? I have no clue. What am I saying? Am I saying ship or shit? Anyway, okay. So let's get back to this platform. So we have our storage space. Now this is actually from your database. So right now my database is storing 149 meg. Which is, for me, that's quite a lot, I think, for a general home-based application. That's quite a lot. But I haven't been clearing my logs here very much. As you can see, you have tests here from, 26? That's today already. So you have discoveries from this morning, which I don't know when that happened. But I do also have the Python script running within a Docker environment right now, which it's working, but not as well as I would like it to. Okay, so it's not discovering everything, which, it sucks. So I would not advise using Docker. Yeah, I said it. I would not advise using Docker to host the platform or to run your scripts. I will include the Docker scripts that I have added there. You can check those out and maybe test yourself. And of course, hosting or deploying the platform itself or the portal within the Docker environment will be fine, but you want to run those scripts outside of a Docker environment. Back to the dashboard. Okay, so we have our ghost nodes. So these are all of our ghost nodes. We have our network integrity, and we also have options here that we can enable or disable various system options that I have included here, which are quite nice. Now you have here your upload and download speed. You can access the logs via various links that I've been including everywhere beautifully. So even here, you have the full logs there that you can access the full logs straight away from the dashboard. You can, of course, organize here the events as you please. You have your error logs, your health logs, and again, that will send you to the relevant link that you need for that. So here, that'll send us to the alerts, or should do. Oh, there we go. And of course, like I say, hopefully I don't have any bugs this time. You can copy your IP address here. So let's see if that one works. So let me come here, and there you go. So that copies the IP address there. And we have all of our events here, our errors and health. Now, as I was saying, you have logging within the platform itself, as well as then the Python script, and then also a cron job. So you have the choice running cron, a PHP application to run in the background every few hours or whenever you like, which you have to manually set up, or you have the Python scripts, which works best because you're going to get the best data from that, as much as the platform is pretty awesome already. I'm going to show you because, of course, we've just started and there is a lot here to see. So let's continue here with the dashboard. So we have here added now our universal ping, which I'm seeing is not opening either. So that's another bug I'm going to have to check out in a moment. But those should be working then also when you have it. I have added it to the Dropbox already, but I guess I'm going to deploy it again just to make sure that these silly little things are actually working right. You have a lot of options at the top here. You can discover your nodes, and we'll come to that shortly. So I hope you remember that view with a warning. You have your view assets. You have also the view service option up here. We can launch the cameras from here. And we can also launch our global ping from here, our asset ping, should I mention. We can also clear all of the logs here. We can refresh the data that we have here within our dashboard, even though it refreshes automatically, but we have a hard refresh there. And a lovely little sidebar. Excuse me. Now the sidebar. Now this is a new feature I've added. Now at the moment it just displays you the active nodes, the total fleet, as well as your latency nodes, and gives you a little AI analytics here. Now right now this is not AI, but this is something I'm looking at adding within version 4. Yes, version 4. And you're going to see one of the new applications there, which you can probably see here at the moment already, Robo Terminal. So that's something I'm adding at the moment. It is in your deployment, so you will have it available there. Now, if you want to use it, you can try it. Maybe it works already for you. Maybe it doesn't. I have tried to use it. I still have some work there to do. So that is still coming. But other than the Robo Terminal here, the Docker edition, and the PC controller, yes, we'll come to those. Those are the free applications or functions, elements within this portal that are not working, okay? They may work, they may not work. They may work, they may not work. I don't know, okay? Right now, I still know I need to finish those. So, and do some more testing, because that's really what it comes down to, is the testing. And as you know, using Scriptcase, of course, deploying a project can take some time. Copying those files can take some time. Extracting those files can take some time. And by the time you've done that, each time an hour has passed. So a bit of testing, well, turns into 6 hours just for a little test. So yes, I spent a lot of hours testing. Anyway, back to our dashboard. So we have here our priority logins. So these are logins that you have saved and stored within the database, and of course enabled to be displayed here on your dashboard. You have here further on the right, you have an internal pipe through. Now this checks your connection locally, which is a pretty awesome feature. So this checks then the speed, let's say, as well as your DNS. So it checks your DNS checks as well. You have your DNS check here as well. Now that went so fast, it actually came up with like nothing, because the DNS are using a Pi-hole, and it checks the Pi-hole, and it's pretty much like that. So it's not like I'm using Google and it can take a few milliseconds. It's literally really fast. And with that, well, I have some extra protections. If you need to know more about Pi-hole, I would definitely suggest Google that baby, because if you don't have a Pi-hole in your network, then you are missing out. And that's something I will be adding into this platform as well, because I'm sure there is an API for Pi-hole that we can connect to and display data here in the dashboard. I would really like that. Now that's something I'll be looking at. So anyway, in version 4, of course. Now we have here our latency monitor that was there before. So this is checking the latency right now. And like you see, this is going to 8.8.8.8. So this is checking the typical DNS latency, which is quite nice. Now, as I mentioned here, we have the DNS check going on. Now, because I'm using Pi-hole, it's going to my Pi-hole first and then going to Google. And here in the latency check is going straight to Google. And there we have 19 milliseconds versus like nothing. It's a big, massive difference. And at the same time, of course, a Pi-hole protects your network in some shape or form. Some shape or form. Some shape or form. Yes, I said that 3 times, and I said that 3 times on purpose because it doesn't protect your network at all. It just stops you from getting ads and stuff like that and allows you to control your network a little better. It's worth checking out. Now, below here, our network monitor, we have then our bottleneck alerts. So any asset within your infrastructure that's taking too long, you know, like here I have my Wi-Fi nano leaf. So that, as you can see, I can click that as well, and it's going to come up with this chart here, which I see. There you go. It can take a moment, okay, because it's doing that that test live, and that will, of course, open that for you. And you have the path analysis there, so you can actually trace that aspect. Now, I've actually gone and added these traces, so you can just change the IP address here, or change whatever domain or whatever you like. You know, maybe I should access that or direct that to the IP address straight away, but I figured it's better maybe to have that as a global, and then you can just configure it as you need. Of course, you can get the IP address from these devices when you want to. So I have 2 assets here on my local network, which are super slow. And the RoboCam, well, that's Wi-Fi. That's on the other side of the room here. That's quite slow. And the NanoLeaf, which is actually here on my desk, but my Wi-Fi is over there somewhere. And you can see that takes 122 milliseconds. So the NanoLeaf is a silly little light thing that plugs at the bottom of my Team Secret desk here. I say Team Secret, but that's just the label here on the leather topping I have. You have your availability, so that's basically your online, offline status. That should be displaying a chart here. You have your slowest assets all displayed here, so you can see your slowest assets. You have your vendor mix, so you can see how the mix of vendors that you have on your local network, and you can see here mine. You have then also the distribution of assets on your network. And over on the right here, you have your logins, as we showed already, your events here, all nicely displayed, and you can configure here or select via the events that are happening, which is quite nice. At the bottom here, you have your nodes that are being monitored. So any nodes, as in external assets that you are monitoring, you have those available here. You have an SSL check happening there going on, as well as, you know, the online, offline typical status. So you can see here when it was last online, and so forth. We have various tools here, so we can check various aspects. We have the Latency Pro. We have the analysis to trace the hops, as well as then the controller. Now, this is one of the applications I'm saying isn't fully working yet. So this is meant to send commands to your asset, and then i.e. reboot it, or wake it up, or shut it down, or whatever you like. Now that I still need to test hardcore style on many of my assets. So that's something I'm still coming to, because that's one of the more time-consuming tests I need to do. At the bottom here, I added pinned intelligence. So yes, I added a notes system in here, so that here you can basically view your notes. You can edit that if you like to, so you can go and edit that. And this is a sample, and then I can just update that, and it will go ahead and update that for me. And now I have here some new notes in there, and there you go. I have, this is a sample. Now, the color coding in here depends on your status or urgency, should I say. So if I view here the decrypt data, see it's in orange, and otherwise here it is in red. So high importance, medium importance, urgency, and low importance. That's what you have there. You have then quick access to various aspects here. Also, there's quick little links here everywhere, and I've been handcrafting, as well as AI, but yeah, handcrafting a ton of this because, of course, AI is going to do so much, and then it's going to give you a load of gobbledygook at the same time. So next up, we have our network map. Now, this was initially a version 1, one of the most important applications, and I've enhanced this so much. So first of all, we have here our right menu. We have some new controls down here and some new buttons at the top here also. Now, if I remove the side menu, well, you see it zooms in a little bit, so it actually gives you a little more view, which is really nice. So, and we've changed here, or I have changed here, the icon menu as well. So we have here some extra apps that open. Now those all open in new tabs. I think maybe in a later version I'll open those back in the modal window again because I kind of preferred that. But for now, it's fine. Now we have here also all of the options or many settings that you have available in your network options table. And those will enable or disable various aspects of the platform. So you can just click those up here, and those will then go ahead and enable or disable. And off you go. Now I've made various changes here. Of course, the search will now zoom in on any object. So if I go, say, media server here, and I go media, there you go, it just zoomed in there, and it opens up the panel for that straight away. Now in each panel, we have here various controls. So we have here, first of all, a latency check. We have the option to scan the ports of that asset, the command window, the one that isn't working entirely. We have the identifier, so we can identify various aspects of that host or that asset, and that would be certificates, header, and so forth. Security checks, as well as uptime checks, and we can also draw an uplink. So that basically opens up here the node window or the uplink node window, and then we can actually connect that node maybe here to the generic node that's here to the right maybe. So I can just click that, and then I can click that one, and then I can choose how that is connected, whether that's Wi-Fi, fiber, or whatever, and then that will create basically a connection from that asset to the other asset. Now, I'm not going to do that now because, well, this is just a generic asset. I don't know what it is around the network. It's something. So all of my assets that I know are here in the map. There are a few others here that I know as well. That, of course, I know all of my assets. But anyway, those are in here, of course, for us to see. Now, one thing I added was the option here to maybe change that view a little bit, so we can just spruce that up and change how that looks. Just by clicking the button here, we can hide all of the discovered assets on our network, which is quite nice. And we also have a complete control window here as well for, well, sometimes you have problems using the mouse, and then that will give you this sort of view. And of course you can zoom in and zoom out and all of that using these buttons as well, which is quite nice. Now we still have our active services here, as well as unidentified nodes, and we can link those there also, as well as perform various tests. Now that I think is pretty awesome for a nice little network map. And if you remember from my first video, I really wanted to just have a map that I can just draw that and say, there you go, this is my network. Now I don't need to. Now I can just hide all my discovered devices, take my snipping tool, and I can just go, well, snip, right? And there we go. I have a whole new snip there of my network, and this is my assets, this is my IP address, and this is what I've got. Pretty awesome, right? Anyway, if you like it, I hope you enjoy it. And of course, don't forget, you have all these sexy new options here that you can then adjust. Now I may add further options here, but for now, it's what it is, okay? So clicking on an IP address will take you directly to that asset, which is quite nice. Okay, so you can just click on that and it will take you there no matter what it is. And of course, if it is an asset, it will open the relevant services available for that asset. And if there are other details to have there, such as services, then you will have those displayed there. Okay, so next up we have our network analysis. Now this is a new interface I added. So we have a global interface of your network. So basically we have a few pings going on here. You have some of your logs. Now this updates in real time, as well as logs within your database. So you can see here, it actually chooses then the switch. So I can choose here the switches that I have. and I have my wifey here as an asset for some reason, and it shouldn't be. It should only be displaying switches, but it depends on the type that is assigned to the asset. So for sure, I have here on my wifey here, I have switch assigned, when in fact it is not. But anyway, you have all your switches here, so you can check your switches. If you have no switches, well, then this box won't be displayed. And the same goes with many other aspects within this portal. If you don't have something, it won't be displayed. If you disable it, it won't be displayed. It's as simple as that. So we have here, first of all, at the top here, we have our total inventory. So this is the count of our assets. We have our nodes that are up, our services, our downlink, our uplink, so i.e. upload and download speed, or download and upload speed. We have our LAN latency. And we have how many devices we have discovered. We have here our network log. Now, maybe I should add some quick links here. We have our ping latency, and we can choose here what we want to ping, if that's Google or Cloudflare, or maybe an asset that we have, or a node, should I say, that we are monitoring, and we can display those there. We can disable the live stream, and it will stop pinging, just like that. Can enable it again, and off it goes again, starts pinging our asset or node. Now we have here our critical alerts, so any events that have been logged, they are here. We have our node performance bottlenecks, they're displayed, as well as recent discovery hits, so new discoveries or discoveries, they are all there also. We have a ping directly to our gateway, which of course would be your modem or router or whatever that is. In my case, it's an OPN SANS router that a lovely client gave me, and that's pretty awesome. So at the bottom here, we have again our targets, and we can change here the target to any asset that we want within the network, and we can also assign that to a custom IP address if we want as well. We have here the infrastructure density, so we can see the types of devices that we have on our network, as well as here a matrix of assets, which then takes us then to the asset inventory. Okay, so next up is then the Robo Terminal. Now this, as I was mentioning, is not complete yet. It will be in your deployment, and if you disable the LLM aspects within your options, which we'll come to as well, then this application will not be available. So you can test it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, disable it for the time being until version 4. And then with version 4, well, this aspect will be working for sure. And of course, again, this is one of those applications that will require quite a bit of testing. Now, I've added quite a lot of features in here already, so I haven't tested it entirely yet. I have added my Google or Gemini API that I have, but for some reason, it doesn't seem to be working with that yet, even though it is available here. So if you don't have a Google API or a ChatGPT API added, then you will not have these engines available. Otherwise, it will default to the local Ollama. And yes, you can check that. It will see here, it tells you the server's online or offline. You have the various aspects here that you can change, your output, the length of your output, whether you receive an alert or not, other custom aspects that you have here, as well as, okay, so custom. So I click on custom, it's actually going to allow me to upload a file there and set a custom WAV file. So that is here for the alert. Okay, so the custom here is for the alert because yes, I added a robo sound there. So whenever you get a reply, because of course with some of these LLMs these days, they take a few moments to reply. And well, maybe you're going to go have a coffee, come back, and then you'd like to know when it has actually replied to you. So with that, you have this alert system here. You have the memory active as well, so it will store the conversation for you. You have your chat messages here. You have a library of prompts here. So here I could choose from my library one of these prompts, and it will add the prompts down here for me. We can expand the chat message window. We can add files in here or just drop them down here also into the drop assets here window. The query index. Now this one is designed specifically for your questions, because if you're like me, Sometimes you ask a 2-line question or a 1-sentence question and you'll get 500 lines of code. Well, in those cases, scrolling up and down and trying to find your question again, well, that's what this window is for. So you can just click on your question and it will take you straight back to the question you asked, and then you can review the contents. You have some options up here to clear the log entirely, to test the connection to your server, whether that be the local LLM or the Google environment. You can export your chat, your entire chat, to text, CSV or PDF even. And those options are, well, they're all in here. We have then also the launch matrix option, which of course is the help file for LLMs. So within here you have the various LLMs that you can use. It takes you then to those LLMs. So here you have Claude, for instance, LM Studio. So you have links for all of those here, the purpose of those. And you can also check here what it would pretty much cost you power-wise to run one of those LLMs locally, which is quite nice. And you have here the commands that you can run, as well as the performance tiering and some golden prompts here that are quite handy for you to have depending on. Now you can just click that, and as you see, it will go ahead and copy that code for you, and then you can go and use it in your LLM and off you go. You can ping the local node and there it says it's offline, and we can also launch the Robo interface again. Good or no? I don't know. You let me know. So for our network, because of course this is more of a network application than an LLM application, we have then first of all our new assets. So we can add new assets into our network here manually. We can also discover them via the cron job, via the platform, or via the Python script, and then promote them basically to assets, saving you adding every single asset yourself. But in some cases, maybe you'll want to do this instead. So you have help indicators pretty much everywhere where it matters. If you feel that it's missing something, again, let me know down in the comments, send me an email, and I'll be happy to check that out, or add that little option there. So you have those here. Now, you have then also the magic asset, which is essentially the same as the new asset here, but it's just the step-by-step option here. So here we can go next and add in all the details that we need for the asset and so forth. So we can choose the asset type, whatever it is, and then fill in all of the asset details, and then you can go off next to the next point and then fill in the rest of the details. Now, in some cases, you'll find that you'll add your asset in here and you're going to have a shit ton of options when you come to modify the asset. Yes, I said it again. I think I might say that a few more times. But anyway, we'll come to that. We'll see that in a few moments. So we have here then also the asset matrix. Now this converts also to the service matrix. And as you see here, you have a load of options here to check as well as verify that connection that you have going on there, whatever it is. Now I should note I haven't been running the Python script here for a little while, and I've just been using the platform. So you see some aspects here from the Python script running previously, and some aspects which are, well, maybe not filled in. And I see I need to check one or two of these links again. Yeah, asset not found. So I need to check one or two of these links again, but I'll get to that. And hopefully for your update. Otherwise, you just install the project as it is. There's a lot that works already. And any bugs, yeah, just let me know. Let me know on the GitHub page if you can. I don't know if you can comment there. But otherwise, yeah, like I say, you can just email me. And again, my email's up here. So you can just email me and I'll be happy to modify these. Because, of course, I'll be checking this out. And I've been using this quite a bit, which is why, of course, I've been adding more features, capabilities, options, debugging everything like crazy. Now, you're going to notice I've made a lot of style changes and a lot of adjustments here to our interface. Some of those are pretty awesome. Some of them are not. And it really depends. Okay, so I see here my logo is not being displayed no more, but I think that was actually causing me some issues, because when I was coming here, I've recorded this video 5 times already. So when I was coming here to the assets, it was actually not displaying this, it was hiding it entirely. And now I probably removed that during the debugging testing of that. And I think maybe that was causing me some issues, because I was injecting an icon and some animation here into the background of the menu. And I think that was destroying the form, because every time I come here and I'll be recording the video, it wouldn't display the form, which is pretty annoying. So of course, this is your asset form. So here you have all of your asset options, settings, you have your details, you have all the logs concerning that asset, you have any accounts here. So I see this is an update I made earlier, so I'm going to have to check that. Your services, your documents assigned to this, and the individual notes, single notes, I'm going to say, because I've added notes separately, but I've not added them here into the asset, the intelligence. Let me know if you want to have that there. I'd be happy to maybe add that below or something, we'll see. But yes, there are a lot of options up here. So you can clean the logs of this asset, you can add more details, you can do all sorts of craziness in there. I'm seeing I've got a lovely bug here with 2 exit buttons, which is interesting. But that could be because of my CSS styling that I've applied here, as well as a little bit of JavaScript I added there to resolve something that I was hoping would resolve it, but I'm not sure I'm going to need that now. But that's something I'll come to anyway. So hopefully that'll be solved in your version when you download it. And if not, like I say, just download one of the updates when they're there. Now you have all the details here and a ton of options. Now, a majority of these options, or the majority of these options, are for the Python script. Okay, so if you don't use the Python script, then some of these options will not be applied within your cron job or within the platform testing. Okay, because I've added a few applications. Somebody actually asked me, oh, I can only do discovery with Python. Well, now you can do it in the platform as well. It may take you a little time because it's not very fast, but it's there. So like you see, I've added quite a few options in here and a few extra views. I've been testing everything like crazy. And so this here is the topology mapping. So this is actually the connections that we have. So if I view here the network map, so this comes or displays then the connections from the pi hole here, for instance, to the switch. And that is, of course, important to create that connection between those devices. And that is also here where the node builder comes in. So here I can say, well, this switch is connected to, well, the Tapo RoboCam here. And then I can establish the link, and that will then create a link between those 2 assets and then update here the map accordingly. Now we have here also then the new discovery tool. So this is a tool built into the platform to scan your network and check everything. Now I'm not going to run this now because it's heavy. And that is why when you load it, I've added this little warning here, because it is heavy. And it can not freeze your window, but when you stop it and you think, oh, it's done now, well, it's not. So I've been working on it. I've added a ton of work into this one. So actually, let's just go ahead and run the sweep. So if I run here, this standard sweep, I have a complete one there to show you in a few moments with the port logging. Now this is now just performing a basic sweep on our network, confirming everything, logging everything, updating everything, checking everything, verifying and converting. And this tool does a lot. And that's why it may not seem very fast. Actually, for the port logging, which is this option up here, the full sweep. So right now I'm just running the standard sweep. The full sweep will also display here the port addresses. Like if I have, here we go. So this is one I ran yesterday. And as you see, this also has all of the ports displayed. So it checks all of the ports. I've added quite a few ports in there, and it will check those ports. So it can take a little time. And as you see here on the right-hand side, we have various options here. I'm just going to go through everything. So back to our main menu, because this is sweeping right now, right? And we can see as it progresses. Now, first of all, up here, you have 3% progress, scan progress right now. You have 10 of 10 threads, and you have those indicated here via these little mini LEDs here as well. So as the threads complete and restart, this will keep changing and adjusting. You have then also the scan of the IP addresses. So these are the current IP addresses that are being scanned on the network. And as that changes, as the scan adjusts, so it should change in a few moments from 12, there we go, 13, now it's 13 to 22, so it finished port 12, or IP address 12, now it's gone to 13, and then moved to 22. So these are all the IP addresses which are being scanned. So now if I click, for instance, here, the stop, and you'll see it is halting, it is stopping, okay, but the threads here needs to finish, and the ports here need to finish as well. So now if I go to do something else, it will actually revert back to this application, okay? So that's not a bug, all right? That's just the way this is working, I'm afraid, because while this scan is still working, it's going to keep sending you. So if I come here to the Robo Terminal, for instance, it's going to go back to that page, right? Because that scan's not finished yet. It's still running in the background, or it was, or it will do. There you go. So there you go. It's gone back to our Discover application here. So this is still running. We still have threads open here, and these IP addresses, we're still waiting for replies. It's still waiting for something. So you need to wait for this entire process to finish if you click the halt sweep. Okay, so that's very important. And then once all of these IP addresses here have gone, the 20.21.22 means the process is finished, and then you'll be able to continue reviewing other applications or continuing. So running this sweep is, well, it replaces the cron job, it replaces the Python. This also does update the assets as well as discoveries. Now, I have added complete logging in here, which you can enable or disable at the top here. Again, I've added a warning there because enabling that, well, you're adding extra logging in there, and then it will add to the network log, the error log, the health log, and it will add to those logs as well, indicating that everything's okay, something's wrong, it completed, it started, and all of that. Okay, so if you're going to be doing some debugging mainly, maybe, and like you see, it's switched now to the Robo. Okay, so with that, then we have then our data there. So let me come back to this other one here, which was completed. So from here, we have then also the scan progress. We have the current queue state. We have the nodes that have been identified here within our assets table, as well as nodes or assets which are not identified. So those are newly discovered on our network. We don't know what they are. We have then also our average response time, and like you see, clicking on that opens here the average latency, and this is then of each thread that is then checking each of those assets. Okay, so I have a lot of assets here in the house. They're wireless, they're cable, some of them are on a 10 gig network, some of them are on a 1 gig network, i.e. 1 gig switch, and then some of them are wireless, and they're all over the house. So the latency here per node or thread will really change. Okay, so within this list, as you see, I've added options here to copy the IP address. So I can just copy the IP address there again. I can copy the MAC address also, and that will copy the MAC address for me, which is quite nice. Or I can copy everything and copy the entire row, and there we then have everything according to that status. Now, right now I have ports because I've done a port scan within this application. If you have not done a port scan, then you will not have the ports here. Okay, so if I come down here and go to one of these other ones that has lots of ports, so here we have more ports, so I can copy that one, place that in there, and now I have all 3 ports that have been found there too. So I have various options here to get various aspects of data. Now I can click here the view, and that will give here the option for a deep scan of this IP address. Now, typically, I would think you'd only want to run this if you have not done the port scan, because that's pretty much what the deep scan does. It checks then all of the ports on the asset. We have the option here to promote this discovery, because notice, assets that are logged or tracked, or my assets that are in my asset table, well, those do not have here the promote button. These are all discovered devices. And then from here, I can then choose the type that it is. I can make further adjustments within the form, and you may want to, because of course we can't have all of the profiles here, but that will then promote that discovery to an asset for us. Okay, so back here within our application, we have then the list of complete discovered devices, and we can trace those if we want to. Now this trace here is enabled via the device itself. So I see that is not opening now. I had to have a bug, didn't I? So that's something I'm gonna have to check. Then they go, discovered devices. I was so, oh God, I'm not gonna record this video again, I'm afraid. I'm tired, five recordings already just because I found a little bug or something that annoyed me. Anyway, so that's I'll check this out and I'll update that and make sure that is actually fully working within the release, okay? Because of course this is important. We have then here our discovery probe, then also we can check then the latency of that, as well as then see if it's online, offline or not. And it's funny, I had adjusted here already the help is so high again. Oh, the help thing. Okay, so I'm going to check that again. But I thought I had resolved that. But it could be down to the styling. Anyway, so that's something I'll look at. So other than the networking, we have then also our monitoring. So within our monitoring, we have here, first of all of our cameras. So I have 2 cameras. In fact, I have like 5 in the house, but I haven't added them here yet. They're still as discovered devices. Now, the thing is, I have these cameras and they're also using here the RTSP protocol. So I'm not actually able to view the stream, which is a bit of a shame. So I am hoping to set up my little Raspberry Pi that I have here with a camera and then view the stream for that. So that should work. Now, if your camera is actually an OnViv and it provides a web interface, then this will then display the stream for you. You can actually go ahead and control your camera from here. You have an auto cycle as well that then allows us then to view the cameras and cycle through them, which is quite nice. So that's an option there. You can also adjust the camera settings from here straight away and make those adjustments as you need to in case. And of course that will update your database accordingly. Now we have then also here the Net Vision. Now you saw this application earlier. Now within here, we can remove aspects of this and then only monitor the devices that we want to monitor. So here I want to monitor servers only. So here I then only have the servers displayed. And of course I can just add them as I need to. I can view it as a list with the pings going on, as well as then in a group within a matrix as we had just now, and the neural, which is definitely my favorite because from here we really get to see the assets, how they are performing, and of course we can just enable them all again and then they're all displayed here or hide them as we need to, right? Which is pretty awesome, I think. We have the launch analysis here, which then takes you then to your network analysis page as well. And of course, here the little AI side window once that has been completed. Otherwise, right now, it's just an info side window that you can really just view some extra details on. And that's only available on some applications. Now we have then here also the node registry. So these are then the nodes that you are actually monitoring. So you can view them here within a grid or within a stack. And it tells you then the percentage of system health, your nodes that are online, your nodes that are offline, and the total nodes that you have here. You have then also a list of those logs and some important information here regarding that node. So you see, I've been making adjustments everywhere where it makes sense, really. You have your orchestration here. So here we can, of course, view that data there, and we have then the domain displayed and so forth, and we can go and modify that as we need to. So a ton of adjustments. We have the Docker command. Now this is the other app that I was saying about, the second app, which is not fully working. And I was reading somewhere that you'll be able to connect to Docker via API. So I thought, oh, this would be a cool project. Let's add that in there. but I'm not entirely sure whether that is going to work. I think it's only going to work if you have Docker installed locally. Okay, but that's something I still need to test some more. And right now it's not displaying any of my nodes here. And again, that is just down to a setting within your assets and logins as well. Okay, so we have then here the service matrix. I can launch services here. I can launch the edit options here. I can view the ports that are open here and where it is located, the IP address, and so forth. And of course, I can arrange that by active only, all services, and arrange by devices that I have here too. Now we have the service orchestrator. And then here again, we have various tools that we can then ping that asset, that we can check the trace and so forth, as well as make various adjustments as we need to here. Now, if it goes to Docker, it should open then this Docker Connect, which is a slimmed down interface of the previous view that we had just now, which is here the Docker command, because here the Docker command should actually display all of your Docker environments. And I see that's also giving me a little bit of a bug. But like I say, that's not something I'm really finished with yet and wanting to add, and just not entirely sure whether that is going to work. But we're going to see. We have then our logs. So we have here all of our logs. You have here the bandwidth speeds, system activity logs, your outage spikes here, as well as all of your hits activity up here too. You can purge the view entirely, and you also have the quick links to various tools at the top there too. We have then here all of our vitals. So here we have all of our vitals displayed of our assets. We have the speed telemetry of our assets in here. And now this is, of course, more or less the health vitals, not system, well, system vitals is what it is. So system vitals. And now this is only for SNMP devices. So that is something I may have to change, because right now I see is actually logging that for all devices regardless. But that's something you're going to have to deal with, I'm afraid, until the update. Okay, so we have here the trace console. So any traces you performed on an asset, those would be displayed here also. We have then the critical alerts, i.e. SNMP for health and so forth. Those would be displayed here also, as well as then new discoveries and so forth. That is all logged in here. And one of the important factors here is just take a look at this number here. That is a lot of logs that I've already logged for this. So it's quite a lot that is happening. Now, I should mention that this is from the beginning on this log. I have not cleared this log at all. It is one log that I have not cleared. So that is a lot of logging that has been happening there. And of course, that is pretty much just to say that you may want to clear your log every so often. Now, that is, of course, included within the Python script. You have that automated. So it will automatically clean your logs when you want it to. That's something you need to add, or enable, should I say. I've added a few extra charts here and improved the charts. So here we have the network alerts per asset, so we can have a clear view of our assets and their alerts, as well as here the average latency and tests for your nodes. We have then also a health map of your assets. And then we have accounts. So here we can add all of the accounts for our assets what we have. So here, for instance, is the Docker API I have here. And we have the security vault. So I can create new accounts, add them. Those would then be associated to the asset or device if I want. And just like that, we can store then also all of our logins. We can indicate whether that's a favorite, a Docker or SNMP access. Now, here I have disabled these icons because for some reason the hide macro is not hiding these icons, these options. Now, I don't know whether that's because there's an Ajax button. I never had that issue before. So they're just disabled right now. It's what it is, I'm afraid. Okay, so documents. We can add documents to assets. So here we have an SQL file. And as it says here, it does a file check for you as well. So it checks if the file exists. And here it says it's missing on the drive because it is missing. And then here we have the entry. And of course, we can modify that and add the new files. Now, of course, this entry is what you've added into the database. And then here within the repository, it's actually checking whether that file exists at all. So to make sure you haven't deleted it by accident. And we also have here the Host Explorer, which then allows us to navigate the file system of our host system. So we see here the root folder, the lib folder, and then we can actually just go through these and modify files if we want to. We can download them. We have an edit option here, so we can change the name of that. We can delete it, we can download it, and so forth. And just by clicking here, those options, and it will download that for us. And then off we go, just like that. If I click on the title, it will actually load the file. So here, for instance, if I take index.php, that's our index.php file. And yes, I can go and edit it here if I want to, which is quite cool. Okay, so other than the documents, we have our Intel. So this is the new note system I added. And from here, we apply our notes to folders. They can be associated to assets, but they're not displayed with the assets or anything else. So they're only displayed here. Now, each note also has a backup going on. So every time you've made a change, it will create a backup for you in case you want to revert back to your previous note. You have a lot of options here. You can pin it, you can unpin it, whatever you want to do, and then it won't be displayed here no more. You can edit that also here and make adjustments to that note, as well as make any other changes here. We can adjust here and display via the tag cloud here. Also clear the filter and display also via the folders that we have here on the left. So you can see I've done quite a lot here. I think it's pretty awesome. You can also add new intelligence anytime you want. You have here the branches available. So these are the intelligence branches with the branch, as well as then all the intel associated to that. And you can archive that from here. You can edit the folder or the note or whatever it is you please to do. And your archive is here. So anything you've archived, it will be displayed here. And then once it's archived, only then will you be able to delete the note. You have your tags for your notes, which then also assign then the color code. We have then also all of our tools. So we have a ton of tools. Now, most of these tools are still from the last time. They've had a bit of an overhaul with some of them to improve the styling, so it fits more in with the platform, as well as adding some extra features into some of them, which made sense, and more. So I have added here also some extra local network tests. So here we have the local jitter test, which is quite nice. And this goes and does that a few times now. And then we'll check payloads between your host system and your browser. So this isn't just a complete network check. This is actually a more important check because it checks the connection between you right now in your browser and the host operating system or the host system providing you the platform, which is quite nice. We have then also the local throughput, and that will then download files for us or simulate the download of files on our connection. So right now here I have a 5 meg. I can change that to a 100 meg file, for instance, start the test again, and then that's how long it's going to take me to download a 100 meg file, 1.1 seconds, which is pretty awesome. And of course I could change that to a 1 gig as well. And there we go. A 1 gig file is now downloading, and I can actually see how fast that would actually download on my network, which is quite nice. And I say the network, that is just within the browser itself. So you can perform those tests here also. We have then also the recon node. So here I can add, say, a web address, for instance, and I can get some intel on this. Now you have this feature enabled on the assets as well. You may have noticed it there, and it will actually go and get you all of these details of your asset, if that is the case, or of course a complete domain here if you like. You have your Docker Compose option here and various other tools that will actually help you analyze your network, help you with Docker, help you with networking, help you with pretty much everything you can think of concerning your network, which for me is one of the most important tools I've ever created, actually. And of course, there are many other tools that I've included in here that made sense to incorporate within this platform. Some help files as well. So you have a lot of help files here explaining various aspects of tools for you, the options and so forth. I may be missing some of the new options in there because I have been adding a load of new options within the options table, which we'll come to in a moment. I've added some time change tools, some time wasting tools. Change, yes, it changes a lot. So here, for instance, I can play checkers, just like that. Here we go. Play checkers against the computer, and of course, I can play against myself or somebody else, and off you go. And well, you know, you just have to give it a go. There's something happen. Some things happen at the end here when you win or you don't win. The king or queen checker, yes, that's a rule. I added all those things, aspects as well, so you can actually go across the board and stuff. So that's in there, and then you can also see here how many you've won and lost and so forth. I also added Tetris. Yes, come on, you remember Tetris, right? So I added Tetris in here too. I can click here to reboot data. And just like that, I use my arrow keys. So up arrow and down arrow and left and right. And then just like that, I can start modifying here my Tetris game. Then the down key works as well, actually. That wasn't working the other day, so I'm happy to see that working now. There we go. Bang, look at that. And there we have our little mini Tetris game in here. Bang, there we go. We nearly have a full line. Let's get the full line. There we go. Oh, of course we had to have... okay, what are we going to do here now? Oh, we're kind of stuck now. Okay, there we go. We have another line, so hopefully we get another one soon. Otherwise, I don't know what we're going to do. Yeesh. Okay. What are we going to do now? Let's put that over here. Let's go like that. Okay. So yes, you're watching me play Tetris. Did you ever think that would be the case? But that is what I've actually included in here because I thought, well, sometimes you're waiting for something and it's always good just to have a silly little game on the side that you can play without getting into trouble, right? So that is there. You play it and I hope you don't lose like I am about to now. Oh, there you go. We'll see. Another cube. Come on, give me a line. Give me a line. I've got a line now. Another cube. Wow, this game's just rigged. It's rigged. You know it's rigged. Oh, look at that. See? It's designed. It's designed on purpose. Jesus, what am I going to do now? I need lots of lines. No! But yes, there we go. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so let's do this now. Let's go in here. I'm not going to have a line, am I? Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I'll get a couple of lines in there, I guess. Let's stick that on top here. Clear some more, I guess. Oh, it just wants to destroy me today. There you go. Let's put that there. Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm not getting... Okay, it's what it is. Right, so here, let me go. Let me clear this one line. No, it didn't clear the line. I'm still missing one over here. Oh, my God. Okay, so I lost my first game. Okay, I'm going to lose my first game. Whatever. Okay, so that's what it is. We can pause it or restart it just by clicking the button up here. You have your buffer level, and yeah, it's a nice little game. And of course, Pong. Don't we all love Pong? We all love Pong. So hopefully you don't get it at the top there and it doesn't cause issues. And yeah, there we go. And we can Pong here too and hopefully win against the computer. And if you can't, well, it's a nice little game just to, like you say, waste a few moments on. Okay, so we have Hangman as well. Yes, I added the classic Hangman. That couldn't be avoided. And of course, you can choose out all of the words here. So I know what this is already. Script case. So there we go. SR. Scripts. I needed a T. There we go. Script case. And I done it. And then we can just relaunch again. And they just go through various letters that we have here. Maybe we get it. And if we don't, then we're just going to die like we have here. We failed. Okay, and we have also the remember game or memory game. So we can choose up here the clearance level. So I'll choose 4. Okay, and it's going to just give me a moment here to try and remember what they were. And of course, I paid no attention. I was too busy talking to you. No. I think I had that somewhere already. There we go. That was there. There we go. So we've got some green ones. And of course, you can go ahead and make adjustments there. We can change that. Also, we have a timer there going. Of course, I have no stop here, so I have to keep going. And maybe we get it. And yeah, well, you can play this yourself in your own time now, can't you? And then see whether you like it or not. And have a bit of fun in between of working, because that's what we all need, a bit of fun working, especially these days. So I hope you actually like this and kind of enjoy it, that there are some fun aspects to this that you have there. Okay, so those are enabled and available within the latest version of Landman. Now you have your accounts here. Now this is for your user accounts to access the platform in the first place. You have your portal options. Now, of course, this has been expanded with the extra options that are available. So here we have the RoboLLM. So that was actually disabled. So I need to check that to make sure that actually hides here in the menu if it's disabled, because right now I see it's not doing so. We have then all of the settings in here that you then need to adjust. Now, as I was saying, some of these are, or the majority of these options are for the Python script. Some of them actually change aspects within the platform, and some of them change aspects of the Python script. So that's worth checking out. You have your LLM options here. So we have the chat settings, we have API logs, your chat prompts, your chat messages, your chat files that you've uploaded. So once the RoboLLM or Robo Terminal appears working, those will be valuable, I guess. You have your security settings as well as your authentication. So with that, of course, I could go through all of the tools we have here. And like you see, there is a lot of tools I've built in here. I've redesigned some of them, gone over them, debugged some of them, fixed some of them, improved some of them, added extra features to some of them. I've done a lot. Now, I don't know here, actually, if I showed this little test. I think I did, actually, didn't I? Okay, anyway, that is Landman version 3. Yes. So one or two bugs I still need to fix, so hopefully I'll get those resolved and I'll re-upload the file again. Now, as I was saying at the beginning of the video, I had created a GitHub page. So let me show you that. So right here, I have the Landman GitHub page. So I've added the previous version 1 stuff in here, as well as updated now with the database has obviously got much larger. There's a lot of extra fields there now. There's some new tables, so you will want to adjust those or update accordingly. I would probably suggest just to start again with this latest version, and then from here onwards, well, I don't think there's going to be any new additions to the database. And you have everything in here you need. So I've added a lot of information in here about the platform, some of the tools, the capabilities, some of the views, and so much more. And you see here, this is before I added the discovery removal. So the images here might be slightly different from the actual panels because I've been making improvements since then. You have some extra tools there since then as well. And well, I've added pretty much everything in here. Now, the only thing I'm going to update here now is adding then here the full project. So you can download it here from Dropbox. Now, this is the one that you're viewing now. So you may have one or two bugs there still. Otherwise, I'm hoping I've updated this by the time I give you this video, which should be Monday, I would think. And then you can actually go ahead and download this. You have the database here. You have the scripts here, so the Python scripts. Okay, so those are definitely worth having, and I have made adjustments to these since. So these are version 1 scripts. There are also version 3 scripts there as well, which uses now an orchestrator. So I was planning on having all of the Python scripts as one script. What a nightmare that turned out to be. So I actually separated the scripts into multiple and used an orchestrator script, let's say, to manage the other scripts. So it automatically does the cron timing. It automatically runs the scan every 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is. And then runs a full scan, say every 24 hours. As well as then the cleanup every 24 hours. So those are basically in the new script, so I will add those in here too. And of course, you'll be able to download that here. Add me some stars, give me some stars. I would like to have some stars. Then again, it's my first GitHub page. I've not bothered creating anything. Actually, I lie. I have one more. I have one more GitHub page, and that is here, the Docker stacks. So all of my Docker stacks are in here. And this is already open, so you can access this one already. The Landman, once I release, the Landman will be available. I'm hoping when I release this video, you will be able to find that straight away. I will add a link into the description for both of these pages. Now, as I say in here, you have all of my Docker stacks that I've been using or testing or abusing. And of course, you can check those out as well and use some of them. I have even one here for the Landman, I believe. There you go, the Landman worker. So this is actually the worker script I've been using on my sample on one of my test machines that has not been working as well as I've been hoping. And you also have here the hosting script, where I have it hosted within a Docker environment. Now, I will stress the fact again, you can host the platform within Docker, but the scripts, the Python scripts, you do not want to host them in Docker. You want them ideally on a Raspberry Pi or a Linux system that can actually run those in a cron job in the background as and when you want to. And that way, your database will be updated constantly with, of course, new discoveries, latency checks, as well as everything else that's going on. Now, this platform is, well, I think I can't remember how long I took there initially. I think I took a few days there, or maybe a week that I was actually creating this initially. And since then, a few weeks have passed. And yes, I've spent a lot of non-sleeping hours and non-waking hours too on this platform, adding little links here and little links there and debugging and testing and improving. Now, with the minor bugs that I have today, with of course my screen going blank now. I don't know if you can actually still see my screen right now, but that went blank there for a moment. If you have any comments, any suggestions, any additions you would like to have, let me know down in the comments. Like I said, I'm releasing this for free. The deployment, that is, so you can deploy this anywhere you like and have some fun with it. If you want the project, I'm sorry, you need to be a ScriptcaseByJamie member, and I'll give you the project, the entire project I've been working on as it stands now. And you can, well, as it stands from, hopefully I fix one or two more of these bugs. And then of course you can go ahead and change it as you please. You can have the whole project. Now you will notice that I have of course created some of it with LLMs, a ton of it with LLMs, and then had to go and make a ton of adjustments, bug finding, issue finding, because yes, LLMs, yeah, as great as they are, they're also pretty crappy and hair pulling to say the least. But anyway, it would have taken me probably 10 times longer to create this platform. So instead of a couple weeks, in maybe 2-3 weeks at most, with all the testing that I've had to do as well, that's probably what it's taken me to create this. And I think it's funny, of course, you have all those people, oh, I vibe coded this platform in a weekend. My ass, did you? You vibe coded in a weekend and now you still got 1,000 bugs in there that aren't working. So come on. And of course, did you even test it? Oh, it looks great. Yes, it's working now, but it's not going to work there. Well, I guarantee you this will work everywhere. Because like I say, I've been testing it, debugging it, I've been deploying it probably 20, 30 times already, testing and changing and debugging and more testing. So anyway, not that it's taken my life, but it's taken a chunk of my life as I feel it. But at the same time, this has definitely been one of my favorite platforms, that is for sure. Because of course I'm a networking geek, so I love the crap out of this, and having something that I can just click and have a map of my network, check new discovered devices, check the logs, or see what's working. Oh, why is that not working? Why is that down? And yada yada. I have that all here now in this awesome little dashboard that you have here. And of course I say little, it's little if you have high 4K resolution, and then, well, maybe it's tiny, but otherwise it can be quite big, depending of course on your screen resolution. Now, as I mentioned, please do leave me comments down below if you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it's useless. Let me know. If you are using it and you think it's awesome, again, please let me know. I'd hate to think that I'm just creating this one for myself, because I'm sure there's a lot of networking gurus, let's say, or people that are interested in networking that would be happy to deploy this platform locally and use it on their internal network, because that is what it's designed for, your internal network. Okay, don't be going to deploy this online. I'm curious to know how that would go, mind. But yeah, it's for your local network. Okay, so you definitely want to host this locally. I've also done the security in a way that you just have a login page. You can still access certain things. The logins and stuff, these are all by user. Your notes are by user too. But otherwise, yes, you do not want to place this online, okay? Because it is not security enhanced, let's say, purposely, because you're going to be hosting this locally, using this locally. You shouldn't be giving anybody, even your nan and your grandma, your uncle or cousin, you shouldn't be giving them access to this. This is your platform for your network. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed creating it, and will continue to enjoy updating it. Yeah, because like I say, this is definitely one of my favorites till now. Okay, so with that, I will call it a day. I think I covered everything. I didn't check the database, but I think you can just check here in Landman, the database here, because it is in here, the landman.db.sql. The tables are all in here. You have all of the options all configured, the settings, the user is already there. And just in case you're not sure, admin_access is your username and your password. Go ahead and change it once you deployed it. I think you may even get an alert to change it. I think I actually removed that. Yeah, I removed that a couple of weeks ago. Because yes, it come up and said, oh, change your password. And I was like, oh crap, I don't want to change the password. But that's where it is. Anyway, so as I was saying, I hope you enjoy this awesome platform that I've taken my life away for the last weeks, as well as, of course, the government of Portugal. Yeah, let's not go there. Life. Let's just go back to the life. Okay, so with that, yes, done. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you love this project or platform as much as I do. Please download it. Please deploy it locally, as well as let me know any bugs, any issues. What are you liking? What are you not liking? What would you like to have added to this? I'm going to add it just for the sake of it, because maybe I will want it too. Yeah. Okay. Until the next video. Thanks very much for watching, and until the next time.